Thank you. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the regularly scheduled Mayor and Council meeting for the Town of Berlin for May 24th, 2021. We'll begin with some housekeeping rules from our Town Administrator for everybody that's in person attendance.
For the folks that are not familiar, on the table to your right in the back there is hand sanitizer. There are copies of the agenda. If you are going to be speaking during the public comments, please make sure that you register on the login sheet. Out in the hallway, if you go through that double door, turn left, there is a restroom facility on the other side of the hallway here with hot water and soap, and the facility should you need it.
Thank you. So please stand and join us for a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right, so the first item on our agenda is the...
Mr. Mayor, excuse me, I hate to interrupt, but before we go into the meeting, I would just like to kind of ask for a little brief discussion on what's on the agenda between the council about returning to the dais.
I think we should save that for the comments from the council, which is agenda item number 6, and we'll progress from there. So agenda item number 1 is the approval of the executive session minutes from May 10th, 2021.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion by Councilmember Orris.
Second.
And a second by Councilmember Nichols. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, and the motion passes unanimously with all council members present. The second item on our agenda is the approval of our regular session meeting minutes from May 10th, 2021.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion by Councilmember Orris,
Second.
and I have a second by Councilmember Nur. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, and that passes unanimously as well. Agenda item number 2 are the events. The bathtub races are up first for a date and street closure, and our Economic and Community Development Director, Ivy Wells, and the Chamber of Commerce representatives, Ms. Larnett and Mr. Steve Freeney, are here to run point on that. Thank you.
Us first?
Yes, please.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having us. We would just like to ask for the date of July 9th. It's a Friday. Second Friday, we've been in discussion with Ivy, thinking that would be a great night to have the bathtub races. Following suit of years past, closing the streets after the bank is completely finished, that's when we'll progress the bathtubs down from the visitor center, start the races from Teller Bank area up to the hotel area, and pretty much business as usual. You know, if people want to wear their mask, great. If not, if they're vaccinated, that'd be fine. We've had lots and lots of interest, so we really, really want to go forward to that.
Thank you.
This is an absolute fantastic event, so I'd like to make a motion for approval for July 9th.
Before we...
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
I just wanted to make sure it's second Friday, so is this, are we still doing the second Friday event with this? or-
Correct.
Yes.
What we've been trying to do over the last few years is piggyback events on other events just to help with the strain on town services also. So this actually works out great.
Okay.
Before we move forward with the motion that's on the floor, Ivan, can we look at possibly changing some of the barricade locations to maybe blocking off at Tripoli Street? I know we have the chief in as well.
That would be up to Chief.
Chief, do you have the map in front of you?
I mean, I definitely know, but one thing, you end up with a lot of dead zones, and you end up eliminating quite a bit of parking. So you end up losing all the parking that's actually down on the street itself in front of the old PNC banks. You end up losing all the parking from Donaway's and the parking up there near the actual Vulcan Center. If we're actually there blocking traffic for safety when the parade's going, you can have a car there, block it, and as soon as they make to the blocked area, then we can open everything back up.
The only thing is that I've noticed in years past, and Councilmember Orris and I have caught some bathtubs down there, that this intersection right here becomes a trouble spot with a lot of pedestrians overflowing into that area, and
Excuse me. Then you would actually change the route itself. What you're doing is having the races in too close to the intersection.
Okay.
You push it the opposite way, where you already have the layout itself. What you end up doing is also they're making people detour when they get to Tripoli instead of having the ability to come flow down William Street. If you're going down William Street, you get there, you're like, oh, how am I get around? So, again, the easiest thing is stay inside the footprint itself and move the races, or again, just make sure that everybody up there moves this way. If you switch the actual end of the race the opposite way, because that's where people want to be, then you're not going to have that all jammed either.
could we look at doing that, Ivy? Would that be
Sure,
something?
sure, I'll meet with Steve and Laurinette, and we can figure out the best way for the bathtubs. Maybe it's start at Broad Street and head down towards Sterling Tavern, maybe that's set up. But we can work on some options, and then we can present that via email, if that's okay.
I think that's fine. And we have a motion, if Councilmember Nurse still okay with that motion, and looking for a second.
Second.
And I have a second by Councilmember Burrell. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? And the bathtub races passed unanimously. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Agenda item number 2B is a discussion of fireworks, and that's going to be led by Economic and Community Development Director Ivy Wells and our Chief of Police Arnold Downing.
I'll be the first.
Oh, of course. I would just like to make an announcement that in light of recent events, that we have decided to ask permission to be able to move the fireworks back to its original location at Heron Park. We met with the organizers with the county 2 weeks ago, and Fisher was there and I was there, and Fisher brought up some interesting safety issues, and I thought, hey, you know, it might be a good idea to, Chief and I thought it might be a good idea to just keep it at Heron Park this year.
I mean, what was, I don't recall, what was the reasoning to try to move it?
Well, it was going to be a partnership with the county over, and we were going to have the fireworks at the county ball fields, and it was going to be more of a festival atmosphere with music and the Little League, and the county was going to take on most of the responsibility for that event, and while the town pays for the fireworks, so the county would be helping with that. And then after meeting a couple weeks ago, it was discussed that the police were really worried about traffic situations and people trying to run across 113. And so just in light of all of that.
And we've done the fireworks, it's approved or we've done that at Heron Park.
I was just curious.
So we are looking for action from the council this evening.
Move to approve this request.
So I have a motion by Councilmember Burrell
Second.
and a second by Councilmember Orris. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? And moving the fireworks to Heron Park passes unanimously. Thank you, Ivy, and thank you, Chief.
Sure, thank you.
Item number 3 is a public hearing on ordinance 2021-02, approving the FY22 budget as submitted. We'll open the public hearing. Or Natalie, do you want to give an overview of the few items that have changed since the introduction?
Yes, sure. Good evening. There are several items been changed since the introduction. On the introduced report, we had items from the grant that we are hoping to receive for the projects, and it looks like we will not be receiving the grant for feasibility study and the community center. So the items for those projects still remain on the budget, but they will be funded from the contingency, so that's the change. There is additional expense added to a travel under economic development, elected officials for $750 for a special event, and also office supplies under elected officials been increased for 2 laptops. That's the only changes we have.
Just to clarify, though, the strategic plan wasn't changed, it was the community center that we didn't get the contribution that we were asking for from the county. So that portion, we were expecting some possibilities of that not being funded, so there was a line item that you'll see on the revenue side coming from that dedicated contribution from the community center down at the bottom under a contribution from reserves. The other thing is, did you mention the fireworks?
The fireworks will be funded by the town. The funding from the grant is not available.
I think that's everything.
That's all.
So we'll open the public hearing in just a moment, but just Kelsey reminded me, everybody that wishes to speak that's here in person regarding the public hearing for the budget, please just sign in so that we have a copy of your name and your address for the record. I'll open the public hearing. Gaskell, do we need to read that one line of the ordinance, or is it okay?
It's okay.
Okay. So we'll open the public hearing, we'll take any public input from those in attendance first, and then we'll take the comments from Facebook for everybody that's joining us virtually.
Mayor, may I state just the balance of each fund since there are some small changes for general fund. We're as introduced and now for adoption, general fund total is $6.8 million. Electric is $5 million, 5.300. I'm rounding to the nearest. Water fund is $938,000. Sewer fund is $2.5 million, and stormwater is $183,000. They're rounded to the nearest of them.
Thank you. All right, so we'll open the public hearing, and we'll take comments from anybody in attendance first. And we'll give everybody at home a chance to type on Facebook as well. Yes, if you could just come forward, we know each other, but go ahead and state your name and property address, and then go ahead and speak.
Carol Rose, 307 Ann Drive. Again, I would ask that the items related to our staff be put back in the budget. The cell phones, the cost of living, and the travel allowance. There's three things that were taken out related to staff employees of the town. I ask very, very much that they go back into the budget. I think that it's very important that those items remain.
Thank you. Anybody else in attendance this evening that would like to approach the mayor and council regarding the budget? Do we have any comments on Facebook? All right, we'll give it another minute if you don't mind. Sometimes with technology, it's a little difficult to type everything you want to say in a couple seconds. So we'll just give everybody at home a few minutes and then we'll move forward. Still nothing?
I lost the page for a second.
It's okay.
Getting it back.
Nothing, according to the cell phones.
Nothing has been posted.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and close the public hearing. If anything trickles in, we'll go ahead and still entertain it as long as we haven't voted yet. So that closes the public hearing for our FY22 budget, and we are looking for action by the council this evening regarding the FY22 budget.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion. Before I do have a handout I'd like to give to the council so they can follow along with the motion I make.
You have
Before I state the motion, I would like to apologize to everyone viewing this. This is going to be a lengthy motion. Unfortunately, it has to be done in this manner. We have to read each account requesting a change on, so it might take some time. So I'd like to make a motion that we approve the budget with the following amendments. And I'm going to go down line by line and read off each amendment I'm suggesting. Under revenues, account number 014-001-3871. I'd like to adjust the budget to 0, and that money will go back to reserves. Under elected officials, line item 015-000-4002, I'd like to adjust the budget to $28,116, and that money will come from the contingency fund.
Councilmember Nur?
Yes.
If you don't mind, hold on one second. Should we take these individually?
No.
Well,
No.
I'm asking a question of
No,
our council.
I think he's going to make a motion with all these amendments. We should
Just tackle them all at once?
state the amendments on the record and then have a vote again.
Okay.
Okay, so that comes from contingency. Items 015-000-5616, adjust the budget to $3,600, again, from contingency. Item 015-000-5615, adjust the budget to $2,000 and put the remainder back to contingency. Item 015-000-5700, adjust the budget to $1,750 and put the remainder back to contingency. Under administration, line item 0151004002, adjust the budget to $309,102, and that will come from contingency, the difference. Line item 0151004500, adjust the budget to $23,685, take the balance from contingency. Item 0151004002, adjust the budget to 0 and roll that amount, $4,500, into salaries.
4,500.
Yes. Item 0151005255, adjust the budget to 0 and send that money, $27,500, back to reserves. Item 0151005255, adjust the budget to 0, send that money back to contingency. Line item 0151005616, adjust the budget to $2,400 and take that from the contingency. Moving on to the finance department. Line item 0151204002, adjust the budget to $191,120 and adjust it from contingency. Line item 0151204500, adjust the budget to $14,644 and take the difference from contingency. Line item 0151204545, adjust the budget to 0 and roll that into salaries. It's an amount of $2,714. Item 0151205616, adjust the budget to $1,800, the difference from contingency. Moving on to customer accounts, 0151254002, adjust the budget to $125,353, the difference from contingency. 0151254500, adjust the budget to $9,670, the difference from contingency. Item 0151255616, adjust the budget to $1,800, the difference from contingency. Police, account 0152004002, adjust the salaries to $1,056,615, the difference from contingency. 0152004003, adjust the budget to $10,150, the difference from contingency. 0152004500, adjust the budget to $86,965, the difference from contingency. 0152005616, adjust the budget to $8,400, the difference from contingency. Moving on to Public Works. 0153004002, adjust the budget to $71,050, the difference from contingency. 0153004500, adjust the budget to $5,435, the difference from contingency. Account number 0153005255, adjust the budget to $30,000 from contingency for a replacement truck. 0153005616, adjust the budget to $600. Moving on to sanitation, 0153104002, adjust the budget to $121,295, the difference from contingency. 0153104500, adjust the budget to $9,930, the difference from contingency. 0153105616, adjust the budget to $1,800, the difference from contingency. Moving on to streets, 0153204002, adjust the budget to $244,310, the difference from contingency. 0153204500, adjust the budget to $20,832, the difference from contingency. 0153205616, adjust the budget to $3,000 from contingency. Economic Development, 0154004002, adjust the budget to $91,960, the difference from contingency. 0154004500, adjust the budget to $7,073, the difference from contingency. 0154005616, adjust the budget to $1,200, the difference from contingency. Moving into planning, 0154404002, adjust the budget to $118,180, the difference from contingency. 0154404500, adjust the budget to $9,135 from contingency. 0154404545, adjust the budget to $0 and roll that amount $4,500 into salaries. 0154405616, adjust the budget to $1,200, difference from contingency. Then moving on to electric. Account number 1056004002, adjust the budget to $104,040 from contingency, the difference. 1056004500, adjust the budget to $7,960 from contingency. 1056005255, adjust the budget to $0 and put that money back into contingency. 1056005616, adjust the budget to $600 from contingency. Power plant, 1056104002, adjust the budget to $58,870, the difference from contingency. 1056104500, adjust the budget to $4,660, the difference from contingency. 1056105616, adjust the budget to $600, the difference from contingency. Power distribution, 1056204002, adjust the budget to $573,983, the difference from contingency. 1056204500, adjust the budget to $45,095, the difference from contingency. Item 1056205200, adjust the budget to $30,000, $30,060, the difference back to contingency. Item 1056205616, adjust the budget to $4,800 from contingency. Water administration, it's not too much more. 2057004002, adjust the budget to $126,875, the difference from contingency. 2057004500, adjust the budget to $10,242 from contingency, the difference. 2057005616, adjust the budget to $900, the difference from contingency. 2057005255, adjust the budget to 0 and put that amount, $7,500, back into contingency. Water treatment, 2057104002, adjust the budget to $47,807 from contingency, the difference. 2057104500, adjust the budget to $4,690, the difference from contingency. 2057105616, adjust the budget to $600, the difference from contingency. Water distribution, 2057204002, adjust the budget to $65,975, the difference from contingency. Excuse me. 2057204500, adjust the budget to $5,506, the difference from contingency. And 2057205616, adjust the budget to $900, the difference from contingency. Sewer administration, let's go a few more. 2458004002, adjust the budget to $108,605, the difference from contingency. 2458004500, adjust the budget to $9,074, the difference from contingency. 2458005255, adjust the budget to 0, we're sending $7,500 back to contingency. 2458005616, adjust that to $900, the difference from contingency. Collection systems, 2458104002, adjust the budget to $65,772, the difference from contingency. 2458104500, adjust the budget to $5,491, the difference from contingency. 2458105616, adjust the budget to $900, the difference from contingency. Treatment plant, 2458204002, adjust the budget to $150,301, the difference from contingency. 2458204500, adjust the budget to $11,958, the difference from contingency. 2458205616, adjust the budget to $1,800, the difference from contingency. Spray site, 2458304002, adjust the budget to $175,007 from contingency, the difference. 2458304500, adjust the budget to $14,154, the difference from contingency. 2458305616, adjust the budget to $2,400, the difference from contingency. And the last four, this is stormwater, 3050304002, adjust the budget to $69,426, the difference from contingency. 3050305400, adjust the budget to $5,503 from contingency, the difference. 3050305255, adjust the budget to 0, putting $7,500 back to contingency. 3050305616, adjust the budget to $1,200, the difference from contingency. That is the total of the motion.
Second.
I have a couple questions, if you don't mind. This is the first time I've seen this. So can we take it from page 1, if you don't mind? So it
I think
says,
protocol, you have to call for a second, then you can call for a second.
A second.
and I have a couple questions.
Sure.
So, starting for page 1, contribution from reserve. You're saying to do away with the $27,500 for the community center
I'm saying
feasibility study and community planning?
we need to put that on hold for this year. So I am saying that, yes.
Okay. And then, hold on. So then working down this, for the elected official side, you referenced a reduction in, or an increase for cell phones of $3,600. Is that for all the elected officials?
That's for the elected officials for their cell phone expense if they so choose to take it.
Okay.
But it covers that expense. It's-
And then working down, you have travel, special events. So there was a $750 increase for when we have people that come through town, like the governor or lieutenant governor, certain cabinet officials, and we have them here. We had a little bit of money in the budget for some drinks and some hand foods, like $750, and you're suggesting that we do away with that?
I am.
And then there's a reduction in office supplies for the computer technology under elected officials, which affects the mayor's office, of a reduction of $3,750.
Yes, it's my understanding that those laptops weren't on the normal rotation. And it's also my understanding that Joanne does not really want to use a laptop. She would prefer to have a desktop.
Okay, so the computer replacements, we are on for a computer replacement of 1 unit, which is our admin computer within the office. There's also a need for a computer, being a laptop, for the mayor's office in order to execute the duties of the mayor, which are to maintain a financial understanding of the day-to-day finances of the town of Berlin. In order to access that software, I do need a computer. So I suggest that as the council considers this, that this is going to severely prohibit the ability for the mayor to do the job. Moving forward.
It's my understanding you can remote in from home to the Tyler software.
That is incorrect. But administration, from what I see here, let's see. So you're suggesting that the vehicle allowance that was removed be placed where?
That amount should be rolled into the salaries of the people that have been receiving it for years now.
Okay. And you're also suggesting that we do away with the feasibility, or the, well, we talked about the fact that you want to do away with feasibility and planning for the community center. You also want to do away with the strategic plan for the town of Berlin, which we've had one that's been outdated for a number of years.
I think it's unnecessary in this year.
Okay. So then working through finance, the same with the vehicle allowance, and I take it the cell phone expenditure that I'm seeing here is an increase from the $36 threshold to what, the $50 threshold?
It puts it back at what they're currently receiving.
Okay. And that's for every employee? Because we had every employee funded under COVID. There are certain years where there are not every employee, so I'm just trying to understand. Customer accounts, looks like the same as finance. So Public Works, I see a capital outlay for a truck replacement.
Yeah, the truck they're currently using is from 1989. It's long overdue for replacement, and they definitely need a new truck.
Okay. The sanitation, let's see. All right, now getting to, I think, what's page 3 of your document, it brings our contingency that we have currently at $135,744 down to $49,681.
Mayor,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, the contingency in the report, $125,000.
Okay, my apologies. $125,000 down to $49,681. And based off of my math, that's 3 days of operating expenditures. I mean, 125 isn't that much more, but it is more to help bolster us in a time of economic uncertainty. I would also say that the same thing I've echoed in the past in reference to the salary increases, that when several of us took office, there was $16,000 in our fund balance. Not a strong economic position for the town of Berlin to be in. And in an effort to work toward restoring that and making sure that we do not put any of our employees' jobs at risk during an economic uncertainty, I suggest that we do not do the raises in FY22.
The raise is a 1.5% increase. They haven't had a raise in 2 years. It doesn't even cover a cost of living adjustment. I think it's more than earned, more than necessary, especially in these times when jobs are readily available. We want to do everything we can to retain our employees.
I understand. I really don't want to see us in a position that we have to do what some of the employers in the area have had to do, and that's cut jobs or furlough jobs. Looking into the water administration, you are suggesting that we cut capital outlay of the GIS Trimble locator. Now, this is a 25% allocation across 4 of our enterprise funds, and it's designed to understand the infrastructure that the town of Berlin has and to help us better understand the improvements that need to be made on the capital side. We have a lot of aging infrastructure, sewer lines that haven't been replaced and are far past their lifespan. It's crucial that we have this GIS tool in order to be able to map locations of intrusion or infiltration and to map our infrastructure. So I would urge the council to understand that before the vote this evening.
This is a $30,000 total expenditure that it's my understanding the department has never requested, and we just don't need to spend that money this year.
And then looking through, let's see here. One more. I think I missed electric.
It also should be noted, in the electric fund, we increased their contingency amount from $12,715 to $21,977.
Yes, I have a question actually about the electric. So I see contracted services, tree trimming at $30,000. What happened here?
So that was a situation where tree trimming was allocated, I think, at a cost of $30,000 to contract that service out. After talking with Mr. Fleetwood, he felt that could be done in-house for a much less cost.
Natalie, is that at $30,000? I thought we put that in at $20,000.
20,000 was allocated. With the reduction, with this change is a reduction to contracted services by 15,000, which will leave the tree trimming at 5,000 on the budget. That's what I see number-wise.
And thank you. And I see that as well. The tree trimming is crucial to the main power feed that comes into the town of Berlin. So I would urge the council to consider the fact that this will underfund that project. I think those are my questions. I will say before a vote is pulled that we have to ask ourselves not just what we would like to do. We would love to be able to fund a lot of additional capital improvements. We would love to be able to give more raises, things of that nature, but you have to ask yourself what's financially responsible and what's going to put the town of Berlin in the best position moving through FY22 and positioning us for FY23. And I would say that that is the budget that you have in front of you. With that being said, I do have a motion on the floor by Councilmember Nur and a second by Councilmember Burrell. If this does pass and the amendments are made to the budget, I will have no choice but to veto it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right. The amendments to the FY22 budget as noted by Councilmember Nur in their entirety have been adopted. Thank you.
Mayor,
Yes.
just to clarify, the balance will change once there are adjustments made. That will require me to recalculate the overhead and the customer service allocations, so there will be more slight changes. The numbers for the fund balances will not remain exactly as it is, but it will be a small change. It will be within hundreds, not $1,000.
Thank you.
So just want to bring it up.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Dave,
Yes.
could you explain to me the mayor's veto authority?
Well, under our charter, the town administrator is supposed to deliver this ordinance as passed to the mayor either tonight, tomorrow. The mayor has 6 days. He has six days, not counting Sundays. Saturday counts on their charter, to either sign the bill, veto the bill, or if he does nothing in that period of time, it will pass. Now, assuming that the mayor vetoes the bill, the council would then have the ability to override that veto at its next meeting. Our charter says the council has to act within 35 days. Of course, June 14th, I think, is our next meeting, falls within that time frame. And the council could only override the veto by a vote of 4 members in favor of overriding the veto. So 4 out of the 5 of them would have to vote to override. If in fact that vote occurs, the budget that just passed will become law.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you. Moving on with our agenda, item number 4, the town administrator's report.
Mayor, I have nothing.
Thank you. Department head report, and we can take them.
Let's start with Jimmy,
I'm good.
Tim,
I have none.
Ivy,
I have nothing to report.
Dave,
I have nothing further.
Arnold,
Nothing to report.
Jamie.
Nothing to report.
Wow, I like this. Natalie,
I'm good, thank you.
Mary.
I'm going to throw a slight wrench into it.
Not for you.
For staff's edification regarding if the ordinance should go to another meeting, is advertising required?
No.
That's all I have.
And before I go to Kelsey, the one thing I do want to do publicly again is to remind the public and remind the folks who are here as well that the end of June of 2021, the open container recycling containers down at the entrance at Heron Park, they are scheduled to go away. More advertising is going to happen. The one closed container that's down there for cardboard, that will remain. And then there are 2 relatively close recycling centers. One is over off of Flower Street. No Worcester County permit is required. And the other is out in front of Walmart. And I remind everyone, you have curbside recycling. Kelsey?
We're going to be doing a graphic on that
Yes,
also.
there's more coming out. Kelsey?
I'll be quick. I always like to announce when we've posted a new position. We have posted the Equipment Operator 1 position for Public Works. It has opened today. It is now on the town's website, and anyone is welcome to approve, or apply. Approve, whatever. That's all I have.
Any further? Department head? Yep.
That's it, I'm sorry, Mayor.
You're okay. So we'll move on to agenda item number 6, which is comments from the council. And we'll start with Councilmember Burrell.
I don't have a thing.
Thank you. Councilmember Purnell. Councilmember Nichols.
Happy birthday, Jeff Woodward.
Yeah, happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Jeff. A good guy.
Anything else, Councilmember Nichols?
No, we appreciate you and all of you guys. Thanks.
Councilmember Nerd?
Nothing from me.
Okay. Councilmember Orris?
Just a quick follow-up from the beginning of the meeting. I think that it should be proposed to the council, at least a discussion at our next meeting to get back on the dais. Masks, of course. I just think that it's a time to talk about that and of course in consultation with the mayor and get moving on that. I guess I would ask for a motion now, but I don't know if it's needed.
I think that we've also talked about this pretty extensively, you and I, and I think that what we have is an understanding of the reason why we're still separated and the path forward for moving into the next few council meetings. So
Right, which is
I
why
think we've talked about that.
Yeah, which is why it's a good discussion, I think.
What is the reason? Because I haven't been included in these discussions. I don't know why we're not getting back to normal.
So we can take that sidebar if you don't mind, but I did ask if the council was comfortable returning to the dais during the last, before this meeting. And I had spoken to everyone and that there was some discussion about some discomfort by some, and I respect that decision. It's a health decision. We're in the middle of a pandemic, and if one person or two people feel uncomfortable, I respect that. And I said that we'll hold the council again moving forward with our future meetings all the way through, and when everybody feels comfortable to return to the dais, then we'll do that.
You know, some of us feel differently, but personally, I think it should be a decision of the council. Not one person should overwhelm the will of the council.
And I understand that. However, what I would also say is that when I've made the phone calls to everybody, this is our first meeting where we have in-person participation again in some time. And I understand that that brings on some discomfort for some, which is understandable. We're in a pandemic. And I didn't want to increase any level of discomfort for anyone by saying you have to or you must return to the dais. And I would not do that. I would move forward in the same path that I said that I am going to move forward with, which is polling the council each time before we have a meeting. And when people feel comfortable returning back, sitting side by side, we'll do so.
I'm comfortable. I'm very comfortable.
Well, we don't have to do that publicly. I wouldn't want anybody to feel that their health beliefs need to be challenged publicly for that matter.
I'm trying to do that and just state my opinion.
Well, thank you, I appreciate it. So, any other comments, Councilmember Orts?
No, that was all.
Thank you. So, next item on the agenda is comments from the mayor. The only thing I would like to say is that I think the farmers markets are going great. It's really nice to see the street shut down and everybody being able to come together at a time where we've been apart for so long. So, thank you again, Ivy. Chief, thank you for your department, and Jimmy, thank you for your department as well. That concludes my comments, so we'll move on to agenda item number 8, which is comments from the public. If we have anybody that wishes to address the council, you're more than welcome to come forward. Just state your name and property address, and then whatever you would like.
Can I come?
Yes, most certainly. Come right up to this table with a microphone if you don't mind.
Sure. Joe Hill, 304 North Main Street, Berlin, obviously. And I also have an office at 4 Pitt Street. Mr. Pennell, how are you? Let's see, I'm not trying to make this about me. We are aware of a recent decision by the BZA. It's ancient history. I am concerned about future decisions being made similar to this, meaning it has a big effect on people's quality of life, or if I own a business in downtown Berlin and we're continually allowed to allow businesses in R2 zones, those businesses downtown will eventually suffer. There's only a certain amount of money to go around. My request is respectfully to have the mayor and council, planning and zoning, and BZA kind of review the purposes of the zoning regulations as they are written, and then re-examine the use of conditional uses, whether it restricts them. In my situation, I'd love to see it eliminated. I know that's not practical. But just a couple things like that. I feel this would, by doing so, you will protect businesses and you will protect residents as the code is written. There are methods to appeal decisions, but that's costly, and we have a lot of elderly people and working class people that could never appeal a BZA. Couldn't afford to, couldn't afford the time. Believe me, ask these guys, I've made every mistake possible. But I'm still here.
Thank you.
So I do have,
Well, before you leave, Joe, if you don't mind.
I'm not going anywhere.
Oh, okay.
But I was going to hand you.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Explain.
Yeah, you're more than welcome.
Sure.
The only thing I wanted to ask a question about, so you bring up the review of conditional uses by the mayor and council, the planning and zoning, and the board of zoning appeals. And also, our planning director, Dave Engelhardt, and I have had a little bit of a conversation. It spurred from some public suggestion. following exactly, I think, what you're talking about, is ways to be able to notify adjoining properties of certain hearings and things of that nature. So Dave and I have been talking about that a little bit, and some ways that we can improve that on the town side, to just help make people more aware. We do advertise and comply with all of those necessary things, but sometimes with life, it gets to be a little hard to see them.
I'm fully aware.
So we're trying to figure out the best way to maybe make it like a distance around the property, maybe make it adjoining properties. We haven't decided that part yet,
Yeah.
but that did come up through some of the stuff associated with
Can
what you're
I
talking.
state something as an assumption?
Yeah,
I'm
go
not
ahead.
an expert, and Dave might put me on the right track. My ideal for conditional use is there's a lot of home offices and stuff like that where you could have up to one employee. I think that's the intent of that sort of use. I don't think a full-blown business in a residential neighborhood was ever the intent of that. Now, things can get interpreted and misinterpreted and stuff, and I think that's what's got us where we are. I think it's time for a review and reset, is what I would appreciate.
So now, also with respect to the reviewing the conditional uses, maybe the best way to do that, because Berlin is growing and I don't anticipate these things not happening in the future.
Right.
Maybe what we do is we ask our planning and zoning board to take a look at that and just see if they have any suggestions, because they are that advisory level. And then if they have something, they can always pass that along in the form of a recommendation to the council for
Yeah, and I'm
consideration.
under no impression that, it's more of a marathon than a sprint. I understand that. Any participation, I think, is good.
I think so too.
Cool.
And it's nice to have people back in person again. So, do you see any problem with maybe sending that for review by the, just conditional uses as they're written in the code, or would that be better to send to the BZA for review?
Well, I think that particular board, the BZA can certainly look at it, but I see no problem with the planning commission if they choose to.
Dave, can we draft a letter, because you are the staff liaison for that board? If we have to, we can draft it at the council level or mayor and council level and send that to the board, just to ask them to take a look at that in the future, to see if there's anything that we can do to maybe bring whatever we have current, if there's a need for that.
Sure. I think the public and business owners would appreciate the time.
Thank you.
Cool.
So I have a question regarding the noise ordinance. If this situation were to get out of hand and there's repeat offenses for violation of the noise ordinance, does the town have any recourse to take action?
I believe Arnold did. We have a noise ordinance on the books.
Right, and what is the fine? What does that do?
I don't know off the top of my head, but certainly citations could be issued.
No minimal violations.
But is there any further action, like if it happens 5 times, 10
Well,
times?
I can tell you what Ocean City does.
No, it does not have anything that escalates, no.
But here's the important thing, what Ocean City does, they send a letter along with the citation to the liquor control board. And bar and restaurant owners get hauled down there and read the riot act, and they could have their license suspended if it continues.
And that's done here with any business that might have any type of lack of control with inside. Repeated fights, being open beyond our hours, those sort of things. And we would automatically send one-day payment, so, yes.
Right.
And the definition under a conditional use is the conditions that were granted for the use. If they're not adhered to, that can be withdrawn by the BZA. In other words,
That's my
but there's no 5 times you broke the ordinance, you're done, or 3 times you're done. It would be under advisement.
Sure.
As far as enforcement.
Who would take that to the BZA for review? Is that done at the,
I would.
is that just the staff level, or can that be done at the citizen level? Like, how does that
Well, it
work?
has to be reported, I mean.
Right.
With a noise ordinance, that gets reported to the police or us, and we report it to the police because they enforce it. But we'd have to know. I can't not be here on a Saturday night when it happens and have someone tell me, at 2 a.m. this happened. Did you call the police? When they say no, I said, well, next time call the police so we can have it documented. That's the only way we can do it. It has to be reported. These things are complaints.
And that's what I was getting at, that he needs to report.
Yeah, the issue there is respectfully, in my opinion, the zoning laws or code is written to protect people and property owners, blah, 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 blah. This practice of having one property owner drop a dime on the neighbor is very dangerous, can be very dangerous. Following the zoning as written would eliminate any of these situations coming up. You're always going to have a bad neighbor, but a bad neighbor with a lot to lose, like a business, is a very nasty neighbor. If that makes sense.
Thank you.
Cool.
Anything else, Stephen?
No, I don't think so. And Dave repeated what my understanding is, if there's a violation, reported. I thought it was 1 or 2. I hate to see it get to be 10 because it does get a little out of hand at that point. I think I'll leave the rest alone. Quit while I'm ahead, hopefully.
Well, thank you very much.
Sure,
We
thank you.
appreciate it. Is there anybody else in attendance this evening that would like to address the mayor and council? Yes, come on up, we know each other, but just name and property address and then go ahead and speak.
Sure. Here. Hot seat.
Yes, please.
Sarah Hamberry, 100 Washington Street. So in relation to finding, keeping, and retaining employees is extremely important to my business and my business functioning properly. And in the work employee situation that Worcester County is in right now, I can wholeheartedly say that all of our employees are getting a substantial raise, over 1.5%. So I would like to think that you will take everything that Council Member Nur said to heart. Because if not, some of these employees might come sell beer for me for more money. So I'd like to keep them here in Berlin.
Thank you.
It just seemed like that was sort of just breezed by real fast tonight when he said that comment, and any employer knows how absolutely important every single employee is.
Amen.
And we do value all of our employees here at Town Hall, and
Well, they should be valued with their paychecks.
I agree.
Okay.
And making sure that we are able to provide the obligation that we've said, which is a stable place of employment.
Absolutely. All right.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, sir.
Mayor, I want to take advantage of the forum now too, for the public that's watching on Facebook and for the folks that are here. We have advertised, posted, sourced, whatever you want to call it, summer seasonal help. If you've got somebody out there looking for a job this summer, give us a call.
It's run about 6 weeks now.
Okay? Right now, I mean, unfortunately, unless one of you will have a bottle of people pills, we don't have any people. So we're looking for some summer seasonal help.
That's a great plug. Thank you.
Okay?
Is there anybody else in attendance this evening that would like to address the mayor and council? Yes, come on up. We know each other, but name and property address, please.
I'm not dressed to be here, so I thought I was just outside, so I apologize for that. Debbie Cook, 416 South Main Street, Berlin. I think my question is more to the planning and zoning. I'm having a really hard time understanding how a full-service restaurant got approved in a residential neighborhood, and I'm terrified that that could happen in my neighborhood. There's several big houses near me, and how can you say yes to one and not to the other? And my understanding of the whole process of this was it was a home that became a bed and breakfast, no problem. The guy came here and he asked for a special exemption to do a private parties for 30 people, no problem. New owners came in. I would think a contingent thing would not go to the new owners, but apparently somehow it did. And then they came and they asked for 100 people to be able to be at a thing, which the planning and zoning cut down to 60. And now there's, here it is, a full-service restaurant in people's backyard, 30 feet from residents. So I really just cannot understand how something like that could happen.
So thank you for that. I assume you're referencing the BZA.
Yes, I am.
Hearing. So,
The Berlin Inn and their restaurant is called The Hive.
so we have a staff representative here and our town attorney. I hear that you're upset about the decision of the BZA.
Yes, I am extremely upset. And I'm upset that the residents that were connected to that property didn't even receive notice that that decision was being made so that they could come and share their concerns.
The only thing I will say about that is we have identified a way to be better at notifying people.
It's
right?
too late for these people.
I understand, but the thing is that we do comply with the law and do post the property and do advertise publicly. Is there a way to do a little bit better? Yes, I agree, which is possibly notifying adjacent property owners and maybe those in a certain area. We want to do that moving forward. But in reference to the decision that was made by the BZA, unfortunately, this body does not have the ability to alter their decision.
I understand that. But is there a way to go back and look at a decision that has a lot of questions? A lot of questions.
I think like the gentleman, a couple before you, Mr. Hill, said, maybe taking a look at contingent uses and how they're done and their reference in the code. And if the Planning and Zoning Board or the BZA finds something that needs to be adjusted, and they can pass that along in a recommendation to the mayor and council, I am certain that if there is something that we can do better, that this body would probably want to do that.
Well, it's too late for these poor people that live next to this. I just feel terrible for them.
I understand. And then maybe this is a good time to just say, also outside of the properties being posted and public notice in newspapers, our website has that information, right, Mary and Kelsey? Our Facebook pages have that information. So everybody that's watching, pay attention to those things that you see. We'll try our best to be able to make sure that you're aware of what's going on in town, but we can only put it so many places. And if you have a recommendation of how we can do better, we're all ears.
I actually watched that meeting of the Planning and Zoning that night, and I didn't, perhaps I missed the reference to the restaurant.
I can't speak to that.
Because it wasn't the conditional use that was requested that night.
Okay, then how did that happen?
In 2013, the previous owner of the property, he already had been to the Board of Zoning Appeals in 2012 and got permission to have a bed and breakfast on site. He went back in 2013 to add a 4th and 5th room for overnight guests. 2 people, 2 tenants, 2 guests per room, to 10 for his occupancy. And the same night, he asked to be able to serve dinner to 20 people in addition to those room guests, a total of 30 at any time. And he was granted both of those conditions in June of 2013.
Were they conditional use?
They were.
Then why did they convey to the next owner if they were conditional?
They run with the property.
Okay, I did not understand that.
If the use ceased for over a year, then it wouldn't run with the property anymore. In other words, if it laid vacant before another buyer came.
It did lay vacant for quite a while. I don't know the exact amount of time.
Well, I don't believe that's true from the previous owner. It was still open, still advertised as a bed and breakfast. So, because the next owner, this current owner, he actually came to us and investigated all that before he closed on the property, that use was still in place, and it was. So then he moved forward to this past April 14th meeting of 2021. He asked to have outdoor tented events similar to a wedding reception. It's got 20 events per year total for up to 60 people. That doesn't include the indoor. So he can't have 60 under 30. He's allowed. He doesn't get 90, he gets 60 under the tent, or 30 inside if nobody wants to be out in the rain, and 30 outside. That's what he gets. And he cut back on the time that he would have music, no amplified music. And he went to the liquor board, and they made actually harder on him for a beer and wine license because of the public presence at their meeting. In other words, he has to apply for each instance, each weekend event that he's going to hold.
But does he have
with
to
the
apply
liquor
every
board.
time he serves liquor to people in his bed and breakfast?
No.
I don't understand that.
Well, that's the liquor board. I don't know their
Okay.
criteria. I couldn't tell you because they don't, you know, they don't have us come to their meeting, so. But that's how we got where we are with the tented event. That's the only
So,
condition we
does
used.
he have
to ask
license for a restaurant?
for. No,
Then how is he running a restaurant?
he's not running a restaurant.
It's right here. This is from his website. I'm telling you, there's a restaurant there, and here it is.
He's allowed to serve up to 30 people at a time, breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
That's not this.
By the Board of Zoning Appeals. That
Okay,
was from
then you need
20
to look at this. I'll give this to you, because this is a advertisement for a restaurant at that property.
I'm happy to look at it,
Okay.
but it's not a restaurant. It's a conditional use for that bed and breakfast. If he
Right.
didn't have a bed and breakfast, he couldn't be serving 30 people there.
I'm gonna give this to you. It's off their website. There's a restaurant
That's fine.
at that property.
Yes, yes, please, just one, it's okay, just for everybody that's watching at home, they can't see you on the frame, just name again and.
Joe Hill, 304 North Main Street. I appreciate Mr. Englehart's comments. However, I've lived in that spot for 34 years. This is the 5th owner that's had the property. I knew Sarah, the innkeeper. I contacted Sarah, the innkeeper, and said, Sarah, have you ever run a full-service restaurant out of this property? She said, no, Joe, we never had the help. It was either me and Kaufman if he chose to show up that day. So that restaurant did not operate for 36 months, let alone 12 months. The conditional use was to have an innkeeper and an innkeeper's quarters, no other accessory apartments. The north side, up the step, was an accessory apartment for 3 years or more, rented to a month-to-month rental person, which broke all the rules to the conditional uses. Now, please tell me, is it up to me to report this stuff, or do we have the ability to do annual inspections to make sure this happens? Because this gentleman did not have a restaurant. I don't know who investigated it, who proved it so or not to be, but I have a relationship with the owner, or not the owner, the innkeeper, and she's verified and will testify and bring books to all this information that was left out of the BZA here. So to assume that everything was great and then this guy bought it and it was given more, these conditional uses were violated by the previous owner and were not to be sold with the property.
So the only thing I would say is that as it references the decisions that were made by the BZA, there is an appeal process.
Oh, believe me, I know that.
I know, I mean, just so that everybody at home is watching.
Yes.
And the code does say that that has to be done at circuit court level.
Yes.
In reference to things that we can do better in the future, I think we've talked about those. If there's information that maybe is occurring with a conditional use that is not of that conditional use, Dave Englehart has identified the ways that you can go through with making those things.
Well, the appeal will be through the process of the BZA and the meetings. It has nothing to do with decisions or what was violated. It's the process that was made mistakenly. I will say the bottom price tag for an appeal is $10,000. It's a lot of money. I could have put a deposit on a car. I could have gone on vacation. I could have put it in my savings for the grandkids that I don't have. People can't do this. If you're going to do something like this, do your due diligence. Make it that the inspectors, these conditional uses have to be inspected regularly to know what's going on. The restaurant did not operate. The accessory apartment was an egregious violation of the conditional uses. It should be over at that point. I didn't want to get into this personally, but I can't listen to this knowing what I know.
And Dave, either Dave, if you see something that we haven't mentioned, go ahead and mention it now. If you see a path forward for any of them that we've not discussed, please let us know. Okay.
I'd appreciate a thorough investigation to the previous owner. sorry about the next guy's luck, you know, but somebody's supposed to do something to prevent this. It's quite obvious.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Mr. Cornell, you got any comments?
Yeah, you got mine. You got the process from here on forward.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you.
Gentlemen.
Anybody else in attendance this evening that would like to address the mayor and council? All right, let's see here. Do we have any, agenda item number 9, do we have any questions or comments from the press? All right, hearing none. Councilmember Burrell, you're up.
Move to approve.
Second by Councilmember Purnell, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Now, everybody in attendance this evening, thank you for coming. We do have an executive session meeting scheduled for 8 o'clock, which is 8:15 now, and it is in this room, so once everybody's left, we'll go to that.
Hey.